Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and I'm a part-time reseller on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. If you are new here, welcome. On this channel, I love to share my reseller life, tips and tricks, things that work for me. I'm doing something a little bit different. So if you've been here before, you know I love to just kind of share what works for me as far as like inventory. I do unboxing videos. I show you the types of things I'm picking up at the thrift store. But today I just want to talk a little bit about overall strategy. Now this is just like reseller tips in general, but I do eventually want to get into certain specifics like specific tools, specific platforms. So if you like this kind of content or if you like reseller content in general, definitely subscribe to my channel. And I've been posting like 2 or 3 videos a week, reseller related content. So I would love to have you back for a future video. So today I'm gonna talk just general strategy about what works for me in my reseller business. Now, this is really just my opinion. Everybody has different business models, different business practices, and this is not necessarily like what works for everybody, right? This is just what works for me. I encourage everybody to form your own opinions on things and figure out what works for you, because what works for me may not be what works for everybody, but hopefully I can share my best practices to just give you some insight on things and just insight on what's been working for me, and hopefully you find this helpful. So the first thing I want to talk about is washing clothes. So again, we can all agree to disagree on this, but do you wash your inventory if you thrift it, or do you not wash your inventory? Do you steam your clothing? So I do not wash my items most of the time. Here's why. So I'm all about sustainability. One of the things I love about being a reseller is that I can contribute to the use of secondhand items and keep items out of landfill. Washing clothing, number one, is wasteful to me, right? If it doesn't really need to be washed and I'm washing it just for the sake of washing it, I'm using water, I'm creating wear on the item that wasn't there, right? You know, and especially if we're talking like mall brands, lower end items, things that get worn out quickly from being washed, all I'm doing is contributing to the wear of the item. And I also think that a lot of times people, when they receive the item, if they really want to wash it, they're going to wash it. And so me washing it is generally just kind of wasteful. Now, you know I've heard a lot of people say, I always wash every item before I list it, before I send it. And, you know, people have their reasons for doing that. I choose not to for those reasons. Now, if it is obviously stained or if it has a bad smell to it, I will run it through the washing machine. Obviously, I am not going to send out anything that I wouldn't want to receive as a buyer. So if there's a condition reason to throw it in the wash, I absolutely will throw it in the wash, but I don't wash things simply just because they came from the thrift store. As far as steaming items, I don't own a steamer, so no, I don't steam the items. Again, if it is really wrinkly and it's, you know, I might like throw it in the dryer, but that's very rare. Again, I don't want to contribute to the wear on the clothing item. A lot of times I just take pictures as is. I let people see the item for itself, and I honestly haven't. I feel like if somebody doesn't want to buy my item because it has a little wrinkle in it, then they just don't buy my item. I mean, I guess no one's telling me like, hey, I would have bought that if it wasn't so wrinkly, right? So I seem to do okay with not steaming my items. Again, personal preference. I know a lot of people say that they steam everything, or if they steam things that are wrinkly, and it's just not something that I invest the time into. I do need to buy a steamer for personal reasons, and maybe once I have one, I will start steaming certain things. But as of right now, like, I don't own a steamer, and I haven't made an investment in a steamer in 11 years of reselling. So let me know in the comments any of this stuff, you guys, if you agree, if you disagree. I would love to hear generally like what works for you as well. So feel free to share. Do you wash your items? Do you not? What do you think? Yeah, let me know. Next, packaging. So, you know, some people say that they don't like it when the packaging is plain, that they like the thank you notes and the ribbons and the gifts and all of that. Others say, you know, I'm not willing to put the money into it, it's wasteful, all of that. So for me, packaging is based on necessity. Number one, no, I put one business card in my package, and I do wrap most items with tissue paper for the sake of it not getting damaged in transit. And then basically from there, I use the minimal packaging possible based on the item. So of course I reuse packaging whenever possible. So boxes and mailers that I get personally, I will reuse them if possible. Otherwise, cardboard boxes, plastic poly mailers, I use the minimum amount possible. I do not send gifts. I do not send thank you cards. And again, it goes with sustainability, right? So first of all, I'm going to give you what you ordered. I don't put extra gifts in it because you didn't order it, right? And the same with a thank you card or extra bows and ribbons or whatever. When I get those things, number one, I didn't ask for them. Number two, now it's my responsibility to dispose of them in a responsible, sustainable way, right? And so if I'm getting some sort of cheap plastic toy or accessory or, you know, thank you cards, I mean, I try to stick to sending things that are easy for the consumer to recycle. It's not hard to take my business card and recycle it if you don't want to keep it. That's, you know, easy. All of the items that I send out in cardboard boxes, those can be reused. Tissue paper a lot of times can be reused or easily recycled. So I don't feel like it has impacted my business in a negative way to not send that stuff out. And I think a lot of people just appreciate the straightforwardness of what I do send out. You know, you get what you ordered, and I'm not going to make it your responsibility to dispose of a bunch of unwanted items. Again, I have heard people say that they've received complaints when they use minimal packaging, but I feel like it's just not the norm, and I choose not to do that. I just keep it simple. Next up is another one that people go back and forth in. Again, no right or wrong, and it's adding measurements to your listings. So yes, if it comes to clothing items, at least, well, really just clothing items, which as you can see is majority of what I add measurements to everything: shirts, tops, jeans, pants, everything. If it's a clothing item, I'm adding measurements to it. I'm also adding fabric content or disclosing if for some reason the fabric content tag is missing, but I always put all of that stuff in there. Really, the biggest reason is if I forget or if I don't add it to like one single listing, it never fails. That's the listing that somebody comments on asking, what's the measurements? Like I can add a measurement to 500 listings and miss one of them, and then like that's the one that gets the comments. So people really do find it helpful, and it is easier for me. And I'm gonna make another video about how I work in batches, but it's a lot easier for me like when I'm photographing the listing and I'm actually like describing it, you know, typing out the description. It is so much easier for me to just take the tape measure real quick and give an approximate measurement on the item, type it in the draft of my listing, and then, you know, when I cross post, it goes to every platform. Instead of answering the one-off, two-off comments, I gotta pull out the item from one of these piles over here, measure it, only to probably be ghosted after that, right? So I know a lot of people say that they don't do measurements, they'll put in the listing, I don't do measurements. I think it's something that's very easy to do to avoid cases and to entice people to buy, because I know me personally, unless it's a brand that I purchase from over and over or an item that I've owned in the past, I'm not buying it if it doesn't have measurements. And especially if you sell on Poshmark, there is no return for fit. So, and I think Mercari's like that also too. But if you have measurements in there, your buyer's gonna feel more confident buying something because they feel like it's gonna fit them, right? It's just about providing more information. You know, if you're relying on them to figure out, well, it's a size medium. I mean, we all know like a size medium in different brands can differ. So it's just generally less work for me and results in more sales, I feel, to provide the measurements and the fabric content in every single listing. Now, again, that might not work for everybody. I have seen plenty of sellers be very successful not putting measurements. It's just something that I have worked into my process that takes very little time and it really gets the job done. So those are the 3 general reseller tips I'm gonna start with for today. I want to do more of these. I want to get more platform specific and I want to get more tools specific. So if there are any questions that you guys have or tips that you guys want me to discuss, I want to do a video on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, just general strategy, talking about what works for me. So comment down below if there's a specific topic you want me to address or talk about, or what works for me in my business, and I will do my best to work it into a future video. If you found this helpful, please drop me a like. I'm really trying to grow my channel and it really helps a lot if you like this video. So I appreciate you. Again, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do post videos 2 to 3 times a week. But that's all for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.